All right, so this is the July 1st meeting of Upton's Community Preservation Committee. I'll open the meeting. We have a quorum. Chris Scott is joining by my phone. She can hear, and I can hear what she says too, and I can relate it to you if you don't hear what she says. So it's 7 o'clock, time to start the meeting. I guess Lauren, to me, the first thing is to approve previous minutes and expenses.
Okay, so I'd sent around the minutes a little while ago. I could share them again. Well, I gotta open them first, but did anyone have any comments on those?
Nope.
All right. It was just the Holy Angels discussion mainly. If there's no comments, then if someone could just make a motion to approve them.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Okay. Second.
Second from Catherine. Any discussion? Hearing none. Mike, aye.
Rick, I.
Craig, aye.
Chris,
Crystal, you and I on the minutes.
Kathy, I.
Chris is abstained because she hadn't had a chance to read them. Okay. Approve expenses, Lauren. Anything you should know about?
All right, we have one voucher, and this is just TRC for the Pratt and Mill Pond quality study, just $1,000. This actually didn't make it into the report that I sent around. So there's that, but yeah, it looks like we've spent about 47,700. I think that's accurate. And yeah, so just this one. I think this will, I don't think this causes any fiscal year issues because the account carries over. So
Right.
even though we are in the new fiscal year.
I can just let people know that we actually have a draft report that is pretty much ready to share with the town. And we're hoping to share that probably by August, and then probably in late August or September, maybe early September after people are back from vacations. TRC will make a presentation to the town. It'll be a remote presentation. But that's the status of that. We're getting pretty close. So motion to approve this expense voucher.
So moved.
Okay, so that was and I'll second it. Any discussion? Hearing none, Mike, aye.
Rick, I.
Chris, Chris, I.
I think that was everybody. Chris Scott also said aye. Okay. Thank you. Next up is account updates, and Lauren, thank you for sending around our up-to-date account status today. That was great. I don't know if you could maybe show that on your screen.
And it looks like we lost Lauren.
We did. Okay. I want to give her a second to come back. I've got the spreadsheet up here. I can try to share it. Where is chat? Okay. Okay, can you try to share it?
Yep, we
Can
can
you
see it.
You can see, oh, you can see it? Good. Okay, let me, I probably need to
Zoom it a little bit.
Zoom in a little, yeah, I mean.
Wait a minute, zoom in or zoom out? Some of us might need you to zoom that out a bit.
Uh-oh. How much
No,
of the
that's-
screen can you? how
No,
much of-
this is fine.
Okay, so, again, Lauren just got us our numbers, which was great today. Can see the current fund balances for the undesignated open space, housing, and historic. Plus this, I don't believe these include the transfers that were approved in town meeting. So, unless I didn't understand Lauren's email properly, the actual undesignated amount should be more like around 2.3 million, someplace in that range. Add almost $700,000 to the 1.5. And then it looks like an account was set up for you can go down here for the Nipmuc athletic fields. So they have an account set up, they can withdraw from that as necessary. And there's also been an account set up for the Howarth Glen Trail Bridge repairs. And the rest of the active or semi-active projects are listed here. I forwarded an email from Ed Phillips that he sent today with the status of the First Cemetery. Looks like they're going out to bid for their the big portion of their work, which will be restoring the headstones and the footstones and all that good stuff they're going to do. Any questions about about our balances or the fund spreadsheet this time?
Sorry about
Lauren.
that. My Wi-Fi went out, but I'm back now.
Oh, thanks, Lauren. I had it ready to show just in case. So I think we're set. So are there any questions about it?
Great,
I'm gonna
thanks.
stop sharing.
No, I maybe not that you have to leave this up, Mike, but Lauren, now that you're back on, was this normally around this time Kenny's backlogged a bit, so were these like the latest and greatest posted numbers, or are these like true updated numbers from Kenny that are more real time?
So these are not from Kenny. Last I heard 2 weeks ago, he was working
Cutting out there, Lauren.
from into the accounting software, but
Lauren, I'm
give me an
sorry.
account for a fiscal year. I can't view it.
Okay, Lauren, you cut out quite a bit there. I didn't hear entirely what you said.
Yeah, sorry, my Wi-Fi is in and out. I'll just maybe type in the chat.
We can hear you right now. Keep going.
Okay, while it's working. The numbers are from me, but with the accounting fiscal year.
Yep.
So, for example, the field improvements that had the $100,000 transfer, I can see that an account exists, but since we haven't spent any of that money, I can actually really confirm that there's money in it. I'm just trusting that the transfer happened because the count was made, basically. So I'd say it's like 99%, but you never really know what I'm not able to access. That's all.
Alrighty. Thank you.
Mike, I
Rick?
just have a question
Kathleen.
on clarification. I should know this. When it comes down to the beginning balance, I was trying to see what dates were here. When was that? Was that the beginning of the calendar year, fiscal year?
That was the beginning balance was whenever after the town meeting vote.
Okay.
For
So
example,
even-
if you just look at line 32, Lakes and Ponds Quality Study, 11/7/23. So that,
Oh.
the beginning balance, no, I'm wrong about that. That must be fiscal year balance.
Yeah, sorry, this is the fiscal
Yeah.
year beginning balance for all of
Sorry.
these.
All right, I was thinking it was true beginning, but it's not. It's fiscal year. And that would be this fiscal year, Lauren, 27?
Yeah.
Okay.
So when it talks about the totals, like if you go to the top section, it says description, and I'm just going to use community housing as an example. It says beginning balance, $809,000. Then it says transfers. So does that mean money that's already physically been transferred or money that's been voted at town meeting to be transferred?
So I'm a little unclear on that as well. I think that, so at least for special town meetings, since it happens in November, that is transferred presumably right away. But for special or annual town meetings, since it's in May, I think it's supposed to be transferred right away, but like the 25,000 that's supposed to be transferred from the undesignated fund to the administrative expenses says explicitly for the start of fiscal year 27. The rest of them don't. So those presumably happen during this fiscal year, like they happened right after town meeting. And then the approved transfers for fiscal year 27 are like the annual 10% transfers.
Okay. And are those already calculated into fund balance?
No, not yet. So
Okay.
like at the
Okay.
start of fiscal year 27, we'll have fund balance plus approved transfers.
Okay.
I just want to make one other statement. Mike, I think you said that this was for the start of fiscal year 27. I actually think that these were for the start of fiscal year 26 and where they are ending for 26, since today is the first day of 27,
Yeah.
Mm.
right? Just for record's sake.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Welcome to fiscal year 27, everybody.
That's right.
Yay.
We made it
We're off to a
somehow.
hot start.
All right. There'll be a quiz afterwards of where was everyone 50 years ago for the 50th 200th anniversary. Lauren, you can abstain from that discussion. I think the rest of us probably were.
I don't know.
Maybe not
Craig, I don't think
maybe not
so.
Craig. Yeah, maybe not Craig either.
I wasn't born yet.
That's right. Rub it in.
I don't want to get into this, but I was studying for a physics test. Never, and the thing I learned is never take physics in summer school. just don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Anyway, okay. I'm going to stop sharing this thing if there's no other questions. And then we can go on to with the agenda, which is next item on the agenda is discussion about Holy Angels with the Historical Commission. Craig, I think you're on it. I think Joan is here, perhaps. Is Joan a member of the Historical Commission?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, and then so I guess just take it away, somebody. I know Chris, Craig, excuse me, has we're getting an echo again. But Craig has sent around an application for funding for repair of the church.
Okay. Maybe everyone could go on mute. Maybe that'll stop the echo. Okay. Do I have an echo now? Or okay, it doesn't sound like I do. Okay, cool. We're good to go. I just wanted to say hello to everybody. I don't know if I've met everybody on the team, but I'm from the Historical Commission. I'm the representative now from the Historical Commission. So I just got sworn in last week, so I'm an official member. So I'm happy to be on the team and learn about CPC. Sounds interesting. So the Historical Commission had discussed repairing the roof and the steeple of the former Holy Angels Church building. and we recommended that we go ahead and submit the application for funding for repairing the roof and the steeple, so that we can hopefully prevent any further damage from water and snow for the upcoming winter of 2027. Ideally, I don't know if we will be able to get it in place that quickly, but if we could, that would be great, because we all saw how damaging the past winter was with 4 feet of snow on the ground or 3 feet or whatever. It was pretty harsh. So we're hoping we don't have another winter like that. But if we could get a roof in place before that, that would be ideal. So I had submitted an application to the CPC, which was I submitted it like 3 weeks ago, but I had to slightly modify it with a quote from Dennis Westgate, the DPW director. Because he had received a quote last week for an increase in price. Before, I think it was like 220,000 around that. I have it somewhere, but the price that Dennis had received with prevailing wage was $282,012. So I have entered that onto the new application and within the form. So the work that would be included in that price, according to Dennis's quote, is removal of existing roof shingles and the underlying layer down to the existing sheathing, new I&W shield and flashing at caves, edges, and ridges. New 30-year architectural asphalt shingles, metal flashing, and new gutters and downspouts, making the steeple watertight because it's currently leaking. So they'd make sure that it's not leaking anymore. It includes repairs to the envelope, emergency repairs to the envelope. And in the quote, it says that the full scope is concerning the envelope repairs is to be determined. But they essentially say that they'll fix whatever needs to be fixed so that it's not leaking, which includes selectively replacing wood, siding, trim, and flashing to stop the water intrusion at the walls, because I guess it's leaking through the walls according to Dennis Westgate, and any leaking from the windows and doors, and also adding sealant, flashing, and detail flashing as needed. So that's the list of repairs that would be included in that price. And one additional thing that I had added to the updated application is language stating that the Historical Commission would be amenable to preservation restriction. We can discuss the preservation restriction in more detail, but the one thing we would definitely like to have as far as a preservation restriction is on the front facade of the building. Whether we include just the front facade, the roof, and the steeple in that preservation restriction, we can discuss, or also we could discuss putting a preservation restriction on the entire building. I'm not an expert on preservation restrictions, but we would want to consider, we don't know what the future use is for the building. So if we put a preservation restriction on the entire building, whoever ends up taking on ownership of the building, or if the town continues to take on ownership of the building, it might restrict what you can do in the back of the building, like whether you wanted to update it for ADA compliance, or make I know at one point people floated putting a parking lot under the building, and if you wanted to make like an addition to the left side of it, those things might be restricted if the preservation was put on the entire building. So we can discuss that further, but there is some verbiage in that updated application that we would like a preservation restriction, at least on the front facade. And with that said, I'd spoken to a lawyer, a nonprofit lawyer, and he mentioned that there's two different options for preservation restriction. You can either have a preservation restriction placed through an independent nonprofit organization, or you can have a preservation restriction placed through Mass Historical, which is a state entity. If we decide, and the Grange had a preservation restriction placed on it via Mass Historical. And because of that, we learned that if you do it through Mass Historical, you do not need the approval of the select board. Whereas if you did preservation restriction through an independent nonprofit, you would in fact need the approval of the select board. I don't know if that's a warrant article, if it's just a informal approval, a vote during a select board meeting, but that's what he kind of summarized. So, so with all that said, I think it's very important that we proceed with the repairs of the building, because like I was saying, if we have another winter like we had last year, where we have 3 feet of snow on the ground, we could be looking at demolition by neglect, which we definitely don't want. I know it's the 250th anniversary of our nation this year, so I think it's important to protect these important historic landmarks in our town. This particular building is very iconic. It's right in the center of our town. It's it was built in 1848, and so it's 178 years old this year. So it's a significant historic building. It has significant Greek Revival architecture. So I would myself and the historical commission would definitely like to see you know, it protected so that future generations can enjoy it. So if with that, if anyone has any further questions, I'm happy to discuss them, or if you have any topics you'd like to discuss, feel free to bring them up.
Can I just bring up something totally separate?
Yeah.
Mike, I got an email, like we all got an email from Brian Gallagher. He's been trying to get into the call. Oh, he's on. Okay.
Yeah, I think,
I'm sorry, Brian, I just got it.
yeah, Lauren, yeah, Rick gave me the right number. Thanks.
Okay.
Thank you.
I mean, just a quick comment. You know, the last meeting, I expressed some concerns about the project because of what happened last year and the need to, you know, get an owner's rep and all this other stuff. Apparently that has changed, because last year they were working off the scope that had been presented to us that included everything. And since this year the scope was much narrower, you know, you know, it doesn't meet the same criteria. So I just wanted to say at the very beginning that I withdraw my concerns that I had last time.
Yeah, I think last year we were talking about the need for an OPM, and that was really increasing the price. Whereas this year we're kind of coming at it from a different angle, which won't trigger the OPM. So I think that's a significant change.
Yeah. Any other comments or questions?
Mike, this is Brian. I have a question. I was looking at the study that was in that link. I forget where it was, but there was a link to the Cellarium report. I don't have it in front of me. And one of the things they broke out the different costs. I think this is September 25. It had talked about the trusses, and the trusses may need to be updated to be able to handle additional weight on that roof, such as, you know, the snowstorms that we're worried about. Is that if we put the roof on now and do it as the work that is being proposed right now, does that in later work on trusses, does that damage that work, or it's completely independent and we can do that later if needed?
I had been speaking to Ed Phillips, and I believe he was talking to Dennis Westgate about that, and he implied that the trusses can be fixed after the roof's put on. So they're not like mutually exclusive. We could do the roof repair and the steeple repair, and then later on do the truss repair. I wasn't sure. I had asked Dennis why the trusses weren't included in the quote, but he didn't really have a good answer. He just didn't include them for whatever reason during the discussion. So, but yeah, I believe my understanding is that the trusses can be repaired after the roof's repaired. I think he was talking about maybe needing some sort of engineering report. Although the criterion report is an engineering report, I think Dennis was looking for something more like more thorough regarding the trusses and understanding the weight, how much weight it would actually be able to support. So I think he wanted something more thorough in that engineering report than what was provided. So he might be looking for an engineering report before we go ahead with the trusses. So that might have been the reason why he excluded it from the request and the quote. But that's kind of my understanding as of this day.
I just add, I believe I did hear Dennis say at a select board meeting that trusses could be dealt with after the roof itself was repaired. All right, any other questions, or anyone in the audience would like to speak? All right, I just have one thing to add, Craig. I would personally recommend that the historic preservation restriction be as broad as possible in terms of the exterior shell of the building. I know there's some unknowns, and there have to be ADA compliance would have to be allowed and that sort of thing. But I think there'd probably be questions if we weren't assuring that the church was going to pretty much look like it does now, at least from the street. And then Craig, what would you like from us now? Would you like the CPC to kind of take any kind of a vote on whether we, pending more information, that we would support this going to town meeting? Would you like a motion to that extent?
Yeah, I think that might be good if we're aiming for having this work completed before this winter. Yeah, if we could take a vote, it's July 1st now, so yeah, we might need some time to prepare for that. So yeah, it'd probably be better to do it sooner rather than later.
We still have to have a hearing. That's been our policy for many, many years. Where
Can I just ask a quick question? I have, it's probably me. I have not seen the application yet. Was that emailed to us, or is it on the meeting materials?
Yeah, I had emailed it out to the whole CPC. I hope everyone got it.
Okay.
I think I got it when I had emailed it out, so I must be on the email list now. But
it was today. I think was it today or yesterday?
It was yesterday's email from
yesterday.
Yesterday's email from Craig.
I mean, personally, I on the surface, I support it, but I'm not ready to vote on it today. And, if we wait until, when is our next meeting? August? I mean, I would prefer to do that, but I also realize I may be outvoted, so.
Well, I mean, directionally, directionally, we may be able to give a nod one way or another, but at the end of the day, we still, like Mike said, we still have to have the hearing, and it's going to come down to a special town meeting, right, in order to finalize that. And if that's, unless we're asking for one in, say, September, right? I don't know how early we'd be able to pull one off, or the town would be looking to pull one off. But if there's multiple things and they're talking November, I almost, unfortunately feel as though it's this time next summer that it's being worked on. Right? That's just my inner gut telling me it probably wouldn't get done throughout the winter, right? We'll hope and pray that everything stays together and we don't have the big heavy storms. So that way it could be buttoned up appropriately, kind of by this time next year. That's just my quick read.
Yeah. During the last select board meeting, Dennis kind of addressed it, and he said it would be super tight, but he said if we had a special town meeting and it was approved, then he thought there might be a chance that he could get the work done by November. So that would kind of get the the building out of the woods as far as having to just sustain another severe winter for
Okay.
2027.
Yeah, did he happen to mention what month he was thinking that special town meeting would be in?
Well, they had a lot of discussion. So I believe they couldn't have it at the Nipmunk High School because they had taken out the chairs in the auditorium. So they had spoken to Blackstone Valley, and Blackstone Valley said that they could have it at the end of July. I think they're saying like July 24th or something like that. But so that date is probably still available through Blackstone Valley. But we could also have it in the town hall, and there's no reason why we couldn't have a special town meeting in the town hall. So so that would need to be discussed. But
Didn't the selectmen say they didn't want to, I mean, the majority said they didn't want to schedule a special town meeting? I mean, I thought by special, you're talking about the November one.
I could, yeah, I was at that meeting, and there was no motion made from the select board to hold a special town meeting that would have been probably July 24th. So there wasn't, no one made a motion because it was clear that the motion wouldn't have a majority vote. I know just from talking to some people who aren't on the line here, that there's been some talk about a citizen's petition to require a special town meeting, but I don't know really what the status of that is at all. If the proponents of that have decided to go ahead with that or not, I don't know. But even if that happened, I believe the rule is, let's say that, you know, a petition was provided to the town for the special town meeting. They would need at least 200 signatures to do that. We did that years ago for Sweet William Farm, so I recall that a little bit. But then the select board has 45 days from when that petition is, I think, validated. They have 45 days to hold a town meeting. So it's hard to see, you know, it certainly couldn't happen any earlier than sometime in August or maybe September, which would set back Dennis's timeline further, you know. But that's all I know. I don't know if the folks who were talking about doing that are actually going to go forward with it or not.
And Craig, I did get the proposals from CDW, which I thought was the engineering. So,
oh yeah, right. It's the same initials, yeah.
Okay. So I think at this point, I would just make a motion that the CPC would need to hold a public hearing regarding this application. But at this time, we have a favorable opinion of the application. That's the motion.
can you repeat it?
Second.
It was just that, the motion is that regarding the Holy Angels project, the CPC would need to hold a public hearing prior to any town meeting. But at this time, the CPC has a favorable opinion of the application. And was there a second? Did I hear a second? Rick?
Yes,
Yes.
that's Brian.
Brian, thank you. Okay, Brian, thank you. So is there discussion? Any discussion on the motion? Okay, well, hearing none, a roll call voice vote. Mike, aye.
Craig, aye.
Okay,
Kathy, I.
Brian, aye.
Chris, I.
And Chris Scott voted aye as well. So is that everybody, I think? Okay, so it was a unanimous vote. Okay, thank you, Craig.
Yep, thank you.
Okay. All right, so next on the agenda, I think we can go through these things pretty quickly. Just updates of some of the existing projects that are more or less underway. First is the Pratt Pond, Mill Pond study. I discussed that a little earlier. We've got a draft in from the contractor, which is pretty much ready to be shared with the town. The Lakes and Ponds Committee needs to meet, I think, to just decide to put that report out to the town, and there'll be a presentation by the contractor TRC sometime in maybe late August or early September. And they'll be looking for comments from the town at that time, which can be incorporated into the final report. Any questions on that one? Okay, Howard's Glen Boardwalk. Still waiting for a proposal from the contractor. And I'm trying to get a hold of Mr. Dick Howarth to see if we can access the boardwalk through his property. So that's where we are there. First Cemetery repairs. We did get an update from Mr. Phillips that I think all of you, I think I shared that update with you. Town Hall rehab, I don't have any updates on that. And the MSRD, or the municipal school district field improvements, don't really have any updates other than I've heard through Mary Overholt, conservation administrator, that they're having some difficulty siting the turf field, which would be in front along Pleasant Street, because there's some vernal pool issues there nearby in the back of the field, and they did come before the commission, I don't know, maybe a month and a half ago or so, and discussed it somewhat, but their consultants haven't been back since then, and they haven't filed an actual permit application yet for that one. Lauren, are you on, Lauren? Do you know,
Yep.
have you heard anything through the grapevine about the town hall repairs?
No, I am not actually.
Okay, so sometime we'll have to try touch base with Dennis and see what's going on. Maybe they're deep in plans and specs development, don't know though. Okay, next, unanticipated topics. Anything to discuss? Any new potential projects that we might be discussing in the future? Alrighty, schedule next meeting. Do you want to go for August 1st, or excuse me, first Wednesday in August, which is calendar ready? Actually, that would be August 5th.
August 5th.
August 5th. Yeah.
I won't be able to do August 5th.
I'd like to propose another day.
I would, but I have surgery scheduled, so
I'm sorry to hear that.
yeah, I am too.
I have a question about scheduling. Would it be with a public hearing in mind for the Holy Angels application, or is that going to be scheduled separately if it happens?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, we possibly could be flexible for an August meeting in case that there is a special town meeting out there for Holy Angels sooner than November. So maybe at this point, maybe we should keep the August date open and also try to accommodate Catherine.
I mean, the
We
week
don't have to-
after would be great, especially, if we're having a public meeting. I mean, the public hearing, I would love to, be part of that because I've been sort of a wet blanket on this whole thing. So I think, that it might mean something if it might not. I may be overestimating myself, but
Possibly I could have, the second Wednesday is a bit of a
would
problem
work.
for me and Chris, because Conservation Commission normally meets on the second Wednesday, but we could potentially have the hearing like at 6. How would people feel about that? Having it at 6 p.m. on the 12th, and that would give Chris and I time to join the Conservation Commission, which starts at 7. That just tentatively, would that work for folks?
Sorry,
All
6
right.
p.m. on the 12th, Mike?
Yes, 6 p.m. on the 12th, August 12th.
Before we adjourn, I have a question.
Sure.
Is it worth, I'll just ask the question, is it worth, letting the board know, the Board of Selectmen know that, about what our vote was tonight? So they might reconsider? Because even if we have a special town meeting in, September, that would give us a couple months extra to move forward with this.
Yeah. Well, we could do, if the sense of the committee is, I could send a short email to the town manager, just let her know, and copy you guys on it. I'd be happy to do that if there's no objection to that.
Yeah.
It'll be a while before our minutes come out, so can't really share the minutes with them, but we can let Christian know that that's where we stand right now. And like I said before, I really don't know. I haven't heard anything other than kind of through the grapevine from some of the people who might be planning this petition drive. I don't know if it's going to happen or not, or what they've decided to do with it.
I think the selectmen may have been under the impression that the issues that got in the way of this last year were still in existence.
Mhm.
I don't think they're aware that that's no longer the case.
Could be. They also asked at that meeting, now it was what, maybe 3 weeks ago now, what the balance in the undesignated fund was. And I didn't have the exact number, and neither did Christian. But I just said it was, I think I said it was in excess or north of $1 million. So in other words, there was plenty in that fund to cover the, say $300,000 cost of the roof repairs. One of the select board members expressed some concern about not having the actual firm number. And now we've got kind of that.
And now we have a
Mike,
proposal
could I
too
ask you,
from Craig.
Yes, Rick. Someone wants to speak? I didn't.
This is Brian.
Brian.
I was just looking at, the concern about getting the roof done before the winter. And if we meet August 12th, I don't know the mechanics of how to, well, that'd be a public hearing, August 12th. We approve it. I guess we'd have to go to the Board of Selectmen. And then how long does it take to getting onto their agenda, and then how long does it take for a special town meeting to be called? And with those timeframes, when would that earliest possible date be? I'm not sure if anyone on the call knows this, but is that like a 2-month window to make that
Well-
happen? So then we're looking at mid-October?
They have, as I understand it, once this is for this special town meeting by petition. Once the petition is delivered, and I think this, don't quote me on this for sure, but I think the town clerk has to kind of certify it, that there's 200 legitimate signatures on it, at least. Then the select board has by law 45 days to hold a meeting. They could hold it much sooner than that, but they have up to 45 days. And all the CPC really has to do is have our hearing and vote, before whenever that potential town meeting would be, excuse me. So we could vote, the day before the town meeting. We wouldn't want to do that, but we just have to have a vote on record before any special town meeting had an article for the church on it.
And if
In
we
the
were
sense-
to be
oh.
the prompt for a special town meeting, the CPC, working
We-
through the selectmen and the select board meeting.
We would not, I don't think we would be. I think who would be the prompt would be the group, if any group who submits the petition for a special town meeting. That would kick things off, basically. And
But
our
Mike,
sole
Looking at November,
responsibility would be to just have our public hearing and our vote before whenever the special town meeting was scheduled.
But Mike, couldn't the Board of Selectmen just reconsider their vote at their next meeting?
That'd be great. One possibility, sure.
Yeah,
Mhm.
because again, I think we have the information they need now, which they didn't have before. They have a cost, they have Dennis's buy-in, they have the proposal, they have, the numbers from the CPC, from Kenny. So I think they have the information to be able to make an informed decision. So that might be, and if it works, I mean, we could always consider having the public hearing the last week in July.
Mhm.
We don't have to push it off till the middle of August.
Yeah.
But the key is if I mean, not the key, but if the Board of Selectmen decides to go forward with it, then we can, this, special can be, scheduled for September.
And I believe, Lauren, we need, is it almost 2 weeks for the public notice to get in the paper? The 10 days, 2 weeks, 2 weeks?
Yeah, 2 weeks, and then we need a couple days before to actually get them to post it, send it in. So add like 2 work days to that.
Okay. Well, you know what, I just have thought, to keep some flexibility here. Maybe the CPC could vote, and I think we've done something like this in the past, could vote to authorize the chair to schedule a public hearing for Holy Angels. And that authorization would include having Lauren put an ad in the newspaper in. So that way we don't have to meet to discuss scheduling the hearing. We could just could give the chair the authority to schedule a hearing if it becomes necessary.
And you don't
Yeah.
have to have quorum necessarily to schedule, to have a public hearing?
No, we'd have to have
Yeah.
the quorum for the public hearing, but I'm just asking for authority to schedule a public hearing. I think if I scheduled it, I would, Lauren would poll the members and we try to make sure we had a date that worked for people, but I'm just asking for authority to schedule the public hearing without us having to have a meeting to vote to schedule the public hearing.
Can we add something to that and also authorize the chair to request that the Board of Selectmen schedule a special town meeting in lieu of the additional information that's been assembled and the fact that a public meeting is scheduled?
Mm. What's the?
Or can you just do that without a vote?
Well, no, I would definitely want to vote on that. I think. I would want to vote either way, either just to give Lauren and I flexibility to schedule a public hearing, and then you know, it's kind of a separate question is whether the committee wants to ask the select board for a special town meeting. Yeah. Any thoughts
Mike,
on that?
in your opinion, how would that move forward with, I'm worried about 200 signatures being obtained in a reasonable time. But then also too, with Summers and I don't know the Board of Selectmen's meeting schedule in the summer. Is there, is Dennis Westgate also a way to, as well as maybe yourself meeting with them, to just let them know that's new information, here it is, and the CPC is favorable to the proposal?
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know how that, I'm unclear as to how the selectmen's got to know that we want to move forward. And it sounds like many people in town also want to move forward and not wait till November.
I mean, one option would be for the historical commission. They're the proponent. Would be for them to approach the select board. You know, let them know that they've met with the CPC. The CPC has responded favorably to you know, the project, and that the historical commission actually asked for the special town meeting as the proponent. And again, I don't know the status of that petition. You know, certainly it would be a lot easier, probably on everybody, if the select board just reconsidered and scheduled a special town meeting.
Yeah.
Say sometime in August.
Yeah. Just a strategic recommendation, if the historical commission does request, you know, the selectmen, you know, I would recommend that you get all the information together, because if you just say reconsider, they're going to go no. But if you say, you know, we didn't have all the information at the last meeting, here is the proposal, here's the funds remaining in the undesignated account and the historical account in the CPC, here's the the recommendation, you know, the estimate from Dennis Westgate. And if you give them that information, it seems that fills in the gap that, you know, it sort of gives them the excuse to reconsider rather than just please reconsider.
Yeah, that's a good point, Catherine.
So Craig, do you think, would you be willing to take that to the commission? And
yeah, I can ask the commission if they agree to that. When our next meeting is, I don't know if I can bring it up at the next meeting, or I could maybe just email them.
maybe you could have if need be, could have a special meeting to discuss it.
Yeah.
You probably want to do, be careful about the open meeting law and not have an email discussion.
Yeah, that's always the rub, right? Yeah. So maybe we should have a special meeting.
And
okay. So yeah, so then I guess so Mike, maybe you could provide me with the information about the remaining funds I think that's all I need from the CPC for that information that I'm going to present to the select board. And then I have Dennis Westgate's information regarding the quote. And I can present the application to the select board that I submitted to the CPC. I don't know if there's anything else that they would need. That's probably a good starting point for sure.
It's, and then let them know, like, well, I'll email Kristen, but just let them know that, you know, again, that the CPC is a favorable opinion of this project at this time.
Okay.
And let them know that, and I'll let Kristen know too, and copy everybody on it.
Just one more suggestion too, Craig, is that you may want to avoid talking about the restriction, because that might complicate it. And, you know, because we don't have really sort of the facts on it yet. And, you know, but sometimes people see, you know, historical preservation restrictions as, you know, prohibiting other
Right.
uses.
That's a good
So,
point.
you know, so you may want to avoid.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'll avoid that. So the historical commission would be going before the select board and asking them if they would consider holding a special town meeting. That would be the ask from the select board. Okay.
Yep. Okay, and then and I guess it's, you know, back to talk a little while ago. I mean, I would appreciate having the freedom to establish a date for a potential hearing, public hearing on the CPC application for this work. Just, you know, coordinate it with everybody, or Lauren would, but I'd like authority to do that, just in case things happen quickly, and we have, like Lauren was saying, we've got 2 weeks and a few days, you know, to get that advertised. So, you know, we don't want to be holding things up if the select board decides to have a meeting.
Mike, are you looking for a motion?
I am, and then Chris just, I don't know if you could hear, she just made a motion to give me authority to schedule a public hearing for the Holy Angels project. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, so it's been seconded by Chris or Greg. I'm not sure who went first.
Was that
I think
Brian?
or was it Brian's?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. So Brian's motion by Chris, seconded Chris Scott, seconded by Brian. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none. Voice vote, Mike, aye.
Craig, aye.
Kathy, I.
Brian, aye.
Okay.
Rick, aye. Thank you, and Chris Scott said aye as well, so it's unanimous. Okay. And if it looks like we're going to have that hearing, Lauren and I will try to find a date that works for as many people as possible. Okay. Anything else? All right, Craig, thanks very much. Welcome to the committee again, and thanks for all your good work on this.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. Thank you for having me on the commission. I appreciate it, and I'm looking forward to this being an interesting learning experience for sure.
Thank you. All right, motion to adjourn, I guess.
So
Motion
moved.
to adjourn. Kathy?
Yep. So moved. Yep.
And by Rick. Okay. Don't expect any discussion, but Mike, aye. Chris
Okay.
said aye.
Craig, aye.
Kathy, I.
Brian, aye.
All right, folks. Good night. Thank you.